and welcome back to After the Epilogue, a book podcast. From our yearly reading wrap-ups to our opinions on popular books, we are centered around anything and everything book-related. So if you're a reader like us, make sure to stay tuned.
I'm Maddie.
And I'm Maya, and we are your hosts. Today, we'll be talking about romance tropes.
Yes, we will.
What is your favorite trope?
My favorite romance trope, or trope overall in books, is enemies to lovers. I think The Vow of Thieves does a really good job portraying this trope in its simplest terms, even though for the Dance of Thieves or The Vow of Thieves, whatever, it's kind of a short period, so it kind of goes from enemies to friends to lovers, which I feel like a lot of books do that. But I also feel like if you're going to use the enemies to lovers tropes, there has to be a period where they're friends before, because that's just weird.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Toxic.
what's yours? Yeah.
Mine is friends to lovers, so taking an opposite approach here.
That's why we're such good friends.
Literally. I like the cute, they were always there, and they'll forever be there.
So, childhood friends?
I don't know. I think friends are just the people you lean on. So, I don't know. Even when they haven't always been there.
You.
Yeah.
I thought you meant, always there.
Sometimes they feel like they've always been there.
That's cute.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyways, there's a lot of instances in which authors can kind of mess up the trope and make you not root for the couple or like the book overall. And I think an easy trope to mess up is the enemies to lovers trope, like we were talking about, because if they don't go from enemies to friends to lovers, it's kind of a, whoa, what are you doing? No. And a very, very good example of this is the Shadow and Bone series, when Alina starts falling for the Darkling. No! This is I forget how old he is. He's, super old. He's, over 100 years old. She's an adult, but still it's weird.
Yeah.
And, he is also a mass murderer, and not for, a good reason. He just likes to kill people.
That's a way to live your life.
Yeah.
I think my problem with enemies to lovers is I have a hard time forgiving people for their actions. In books. In real life, it's different.
Yeah. I'm the opposite.
Yeah. So, I don't think y'all should work out because you did murder 200 people.
Well, there are very many instances where this is I don't condone murder, okay? But in books, there are instances where it's okay. That is so problematic. Oh my god. So you killed 200 people. Whatever. It was a good experience, I'm sure. Anyways. Thoughts? How can authors mess up tropes?
Romanticizing abuse.
Yeah.
Colleen Hoover. Looking at you.
There's so many people who like Colleen Hoover, but if you like Colleen Hoover, you're not gonna like us. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm sorry. J.K. Rowling, she wrote Harry Potter, right? Obviously. And then after the series, she became a Harry and Hermione shipper. And I'm like, you wrote it to where he ended up with Ginny, and Hermione ended up with Ron, and that was how it was written and made to be, meant to be. I feel you're ruining your own trope if you're going back on it.
Exactly. If she just left their relationships, open-ended even, then she would still give people ways to ship different people, even though they still do it, but herself shipping the people that she didn't write together and took out their chemistry past what book, I don't know, I know past movie something, because I did watch the movies. I have not watched the books, so my opinion may not.
You haven't watched the books?
No, I have not. It's kind of hard to do that.
Yeah. You could stare at it for a few hours. I did watch the books and read them. And yeah, I am Ron Hermione shipper 100%.
I'm a
Book Ginny and Harry, also 100%. So they should have ended up where she wrote them originally.
I feel like in the movies, Harry and Ginny don't have any chemistry at all.
Well, Ginny's just written in the movies as a super weak character, period.
Yeah.
Whereas in the books, that's not how she's written at all. And it's really disappointing. Because Ginny deserves to be strong.
Okay. Back to tropes. We went super...
Harry Potter for you.
They can romanticize abuse, like we said. Colleen Hoover, she uses the pregnancy tropes and her characters going back to abusive relationships over and over and over again. And while I get that that happens in real life, that does not mean you should market your books as romance books, and especially towards young audiences.
Yeah. Workplace romances are weird.
Especially if it's your boss.
Yes. If there's a weird power dynamic, it is odd.
Especially if the boss is the man.
Yeah.
Just because of the history behind those types of problems. That's weird, in my opinion. I do feel like the fine print kind of pulled it off a little bit. It was weird at very many instances, but most of the book wasn't them working. It was them kind of outside of work.
Yeah. And the parts when they were working were awful.
Yeah, it was so uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Like the tension, they're just like in meetings. And also the boss shows so much bias. Like,
yes.
That's obviously wrong. What are you...
Yes.
I don't understand that.
And you get to hear both of their internal dialogues, which is... Anyway.
Yeah.
A thing I really hate is unnecessary love triangles. I'm not a big love triangle gal, but if you do it right, you do it right. I just think if it's put in there and, like, nothing happens, there was no point.
Yeah.
Then why would you do that to any of us?
True.
I don't want to read that.
It creates so much unnecessary anxiety, especially when the main character is, like, yearning. Oh, that's a weird word. Like, wanting the person that you obviously know they shouldn't end up together, or, like, you don't ship them. An amazing example. Have you watched The Summer I Turned Pretty?
No.
Or read it?
No.
Well, I'm going to spoil it if you don't mind.
That's fine.
Okay.
For the audience.
There is, for the audience.
Spoiler alert for everything.
For all 3 books and the series, Belly, Conrad, and Jeremiah. Belly has loved Conrad for the entirety of her life. She's always loved him.
Aww.
Yeah. And then Jeremiah comes in, or Conrad starts liking Belly back. And Jeremiah and Conrad are brothers, okay?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
This is crazy.
So then Conrad's kind of a jerk because his mom dies, and he doesn't know how to deal with his emotions. But Conrad loves Belly. But then his younger brother, Jeremiah, comes in, and you get the kind of sense that he only loves Belly because his older brother loved Belly, and he kind of looks to him as a model and copies everything he does.
Aww.
So then they become a couple because, Belly loves Conrad still, but she's like, he's been a jerk to me. And despite the fact that his mom died, whatever, it was a big thing. They get together. Jeremiah cheats on Belly. Yeah. And then she's, like, heartbroken, and she ends up with Conrad. But it was just such an unnecessary, like, it was kind of the basis of the entire book. And I kind of just wish we got rid of the entire second book and just went from book 1 to book 3. Because book 2 was when Jeremiah and Belly together were, and you get what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was unnecessary, in my opinion.
Also, it just creates tension between, like, the 2 love interests, and then you're like, we're using it in a scenario where this girl has 2 guys she's interested in.
Yeah.
In the one I'm talking about and made up in my head right now.
Oh.
But you have this scenario where it's like, clearly she doesn't like him enough.
Yeah.
If, like, maybe he isn't the one she should end up with if she's, like, actually going to risk it all for this guy. or considering
I
it.
feel like that's how it is in many love triangles. Like, she obviously is in love with this one guy, but this other guy's here, and he's more convenient. And he's like the safer option.
Yeah.
Like, we're not reading books for the main character to get with the safe option. What? Yeah, it's
there has to be a plot for a reason.
Yeah.
But you don't have to create the love triangle plot. Please. Another thing that can ruin tropes is that they're rushed.
Yeah.
Which I think is one, which, like, if you're gonna write a love story or bring it into the plot, think it out, develop it, please. It's my problem with, like, all Disney movies ever.
You don't like Disney movies?
Well, like,
I think Disney movies are well thought out.
all of the princes, they meet in, like, 10 days, and then it's like, love. I think Frozen,
Fair.
Kristoff and Anna's, like, the one true developed love story.
They are so cute,
and I love them for forever.
Oh.
Lost in the Woods, 10 out of 10. But we're here to talk about books.
Yes, we are. Let me think. Rushed.
Yes.
Like Sleeping Beauty.
Yeah.
No, that's not. I don't like
Yeah.
that. And also, if you're gonna have, like you said, a love plot, then you should think it out so that it doesn't. Because when you're reading a book, you're reading it through the mind of the main character, usually.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't fall in love with someone 1 to 2 days. Debatable, I know, but when you're reading a book,
Love at first sight.
those 1 to 2 days is like 30 minutes for the book reader.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of impossible to make a good relationship that happens within the first 100 pages.
Yeah. Agreed. Are tropes realistic in real life?
We covered this. They can be, like the friends to lovers trope. I feel like that's the most realistic trope. But the majority, no.
Yeah. When are you going to get in those scenarios?
Yeah, like it's something you dream about. It's something you think about, and you're like, oh man, I wish that would happen to me, but that's not going to happen. It's fantasy, you know?
Do people have enemies in real life? Is that a thing?
I don't.
I don't.
Like, do you?
I hope I don't.
Yeah.
I don't know about them.
There's never going to be a person where I hate them so much, and then I spend 2 days with them, and I'm like, never mind, I'm down bad for this person. Like, if I don't like someone, I don't like someone for good enough reasons that it's not going to break based off their reasoning behind those decisions.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, incest tropes, I hope that's not happening in real life.
It is, though. It is.
It is, because it had to have happened at some point in time.
Oh, God.
Are there soulmates? What's your opinion on this?
Tell me yours first.
No. Because there are 8 billion people in this world. I don't think there's one person for you that's like the perfect match. I think there might be many people for you, but also I think love isn't just, love at first sight and having this perfect relationship with someone. You have to put in effort, you have to put in work. Also, I've never been in a relationship, so I don't have credit to talk about this.
This goes with a soulmates question. Do you think there's people who will never have a relationship and are just not able to love? Sad.
I mean, aromantic people exist.
Ooh. Oh, yeah, they do.
I think there are some people who, aromantic people, people on the aro spectrum, that makes love complicated.
Yeah.
Loveless, good book.
So do you think...
And that one talks about how friendship is important and prioritized.
So you
loving
think they
your
have
friends and
platonic soulmates instead of...
Yeah, I think that's very much possible. But I don't think soulmates exist. So I think you can have a platonic relationship that is
Destiny?
on the same level. Destiny. I think I don't know what I think.
So, here's my opinion on it.
Yeah. Let me hear you.
Okay, here's me talking. This is you listening.
Yeah, I can't hear.
So, this person, right? This
Yes.
person I just made up right here, that lives right here on my finger.
Yes.
This person might go on to marry another person. This person
Correct.
right here.
That does happen.
And then they may get divorced, and
Yeah.
this person might live on and marry another person.
Yeah.
And then die with that person.
Got it.
I was trying to stop
Yeah.
talk, but words weren't coming out. What I'm trying to say is,
Love is complicated.
this one person, did they have two soulmates, or did they end up with one person who was their soulmate, if hypothetically we're talking there is soulmates?
If there are soulmates, how do you guarantee that you end up with your soulmate ever?
Oh my god. That was deep.
I think
Because, like,
if they divorced the original person, I don't think they were their soulmate.
if your soulmate is someone who you're destined to be together, let's say that's the definition of soulmate, right?
Yes.
Then everybody has a soulmate who ends up with someone because they were together at the end.
I guess.
So soulmates are real. Congratulations, everybody.
That makes soulmates a different definition.
What's your definition of soulmates?
Well, I think the idea of soulmates, the concept of soulmates, what people have in their mind, is that soulmates are, I don't know, this perfect match, this perfect person for you. But if it's just the person you end up with, well, you can end up in a totally toxic relationship and just die randomly. Like, if I'm dating someone
That's
for
true.
2 days and then, like,
Okay,
are they my
so
soulmate?
maybe they're not your soulmate, but maybe that was what you were destined to be with because all the choices you made
'Cause that's
led
how
up
it
to
ended.
that destiny.
Yeah. I guess there's destiny and fate. But then that also asks the question of timely deaths.
And
which
karma.
could lead us into.
Good job.
Where are we? Right person, wrong time. Right person, not enough time.
The Song of Achilles, they both die at the end.
They both die at the end.
What's another one? Attack on Titan. That's not a book, it's a manga, but same
Those
thing.
are books, right?
Manga? If you read a manga, do you put that on your Goodreads? You
I don't read manga. But I probably would.
If you read a comic book, would you put that on your Goodreads?
I've put graphic novels on my Goodreads.
Really?
Heartstopper? All four
Oh
of
my
them.
God,
That's
no, I
literally
don't-
how
I'm
I
against that.
made my any books on my list last year.
If we counted graphic
Novels.
novels, I would probably be over 100 last year.
I don't read graphic novels outside of like Heartstopper and stuff I've read when I was really little.
Back to tropes.
So, yes, I would probably put it on my Goodreads if I'm really into mangas. Anyway, they both die at the end. Right person, not enough time. That one's really interesting because their relationship starts near the very end of the book.
Yeah.
Like, you see them at karaoke, and then it's like, well, you're about to die.
Bye-bye.
Miss
Yeah,
American
and
Pie. That's the song.
Oh my god. Bye-bye.
The Song of Achilles is another one with right person, not enough time. But the interesting thing with them is they are together a good portion of the life that they live.
Yeah.
But they die young. Plus, they spend most of that life training and in war, so they don't exactly get to cherish the moments they have together. And what's your opinion on right person, not enough time?
I think it's better than right person, wrong time.
Yeah.
Because, in my opinion, which we're going to get controversial again, when do we not? The right person, not enough time is better than right person, wrong time, because the right person, wrong time, I believe if it's the right person, you will it will be the right time. You know, if it's the right person for you, there will be a time where you guys can get together and if you can't get together, how do you know they're the right person? They aren't. That's the thing. I don't believe that trope to be good. And it might be spawned out of my anger for books who have wrote in that trope and the characters didn't end up together, and I was mad because if it's the right people, then there will be a right time.
Yeah, I agree, because, like, I think the perfect partner for a person would be someone who can help get them through, like, their hardest times.
Yeah.
And that has to be a mutual thing. So if there's something that conflicts that mutual work to make that relationship work at the time it's in, then maybe y'all just weren't meant to be.
And I see a lot of people making the excuse, like, oh, his mom died. We've already talked about this. But in those situations, like Maya said, they should be able to work together to, like, help each other comfort and become, I don't want to say overcome this trauma, because you don't overcome your mom dying, but, like, work through it together. And if they're in a relationship, there's obviously going to be bad stuff that happens to these people. So what happens when the wrong time happens when they're in the relationship?
Yeah.
Is it still the right person? No, because it was never the right person to begin with. If there's a wrong time, then it's not the right person.
Yeah. We've harped a lot on soulmates, and I think that's the perfect example of, like, you should be able to make it work if that's who you're meant to be with in a world that soulmates do exist.
Yeah.
I mean, soulmates itself is a trope, destined to be together.
For sure.
We would fall in love in any universe.
Nick and Charlie.
Nick and Charlie for sure.
There's Shatter Me, which happens because I'm going to spoil it again, and I'm going to spoil it for you. I'm sorry. But the main characters, their dad doesn't want them to be together, so this is a dystopian book, so he makes them lose their memories every time they meet each other because they're super dangerous together. So every single time they lose their memories, and this is over like 50 times, they fall in love every single time they meet each other again, which was my heart. Oh, it's so good.
It's kind of like The Good Place.
Yes, The Good Place.
I love The Good Place.
It was exactly like The Good Place.
Where they keep getting reset.
I love The Good Place. And that is such a good example of the soulmates trope.
Yeah. What's next? What do we want to cover next?
I guess we can cover Enemies to Lovers. We're going to cover this. We have to cover this at some point. The Cruel Prince, which is a book that Maya doesn't like very much.
It was the right book, wrong time. I don't know if it was the right book. I don't know if I'll reread it, but it was definitely the wrong time. I didn't...
What was that?
We have the soundboard on the floor, and so I just accidentally pressed the fairy tale button. But
oh my god.
But it was the wrong time. I didn't put enough effort into reading it and enjoying it. So, yes, The Cruel Prince. It has enemies to lovers. Is what you would like to say.
I was so confused. Okay. You could say it was the right book, wrong time.
Okay.
My cheeks hurt from laughing.
Apologize for the sound effects. Do we want to talk about The Cruel Prince or come back to it?
We need to move on.
Okay.
We've already talked from Friends Lover. You want to cover it more?
What did you just say? This episode is a mess.
This is so chaotic.
What time is it?
I was going to say we did already talk about Friends to Lovers, but if you have more to say.
I do not.
Okay.
All of my Friends to Lovers ships are not canon, And it's the saddest thing ever.
That is sad.
Except Nick and Charlie.
Imagine not shipping
Tao
canon
Rao.
people, because I only ship people in canon.
I don't read enough romance books to do that.
That's not true. I just completely lied. That's okay.
You little liar.
Can we talk about how the Hunger Games is the god of all tropes?
That's so true.
Because, first of all, we got your dystopian, you got a little bit of sci-fi, you have romance tropes, fake dating, when the other person's, like, sick or dying, and the other person, I don't know what trope you call that.
It's a good slow burn.
Yes, a slow burn, forced proximity, grumpy and sunshine, enemies to lovers, rivals, friends to lovers, love triangle.
It has everything.
It's literally the god, and that's why I love it so much.
It's the book for you.
We want you.
We want you for the Hunger Games.
No. I would not want to go through that.
That's why we want that.
We want you to take our place in the Hunger Games.
And then you can fall in love, because it's forced proximity.
Yep.
Rivals.
Yep. Yeah, we already, yeah.
Yeah. But I'm trying to think of, like, all the ones that they specifically could apply.
You can apply. You could pretend to date someone to get sponsors. You could pretend to be sick to make someone fall in love with you. You could pretend to be grumpy.
Anyways.
Forbidden love. It kind of takes a what is forbidden, what's not, because there's a lot of, like, queer novels where it's not really forbidden, but it's like you don't want to come out yet. You're scared. It's kind of a secret relationship more of than forbidden. The Song of Achilles, it, like I said, it wasn't forbidden necessarily. Like, people did have gay relations, gay as an umbrella term, but they weren't supposed to, by society standards, end up together. So I think that's why it kind of goes into the forbidden love.
Also, Achilles had a lot of pressure on him to find, like, this beautiful maiden and... I don't so there's that. A lot of pressure from Thetis. And I think it was forbidden from Thetis. Not as much as, like, society. Yeah. And I think a similar situation, red, white, and royal blue, the royal family, the press.
Forbidden by fate.
Ooh, that was deep.
Yeah.
That was real deep.
I tried. A very good, another trope, Grumpy and Sunshine. We kind of covered this with Hunger Games, but they're just so cute. Oh my god, I love this trope so much. Yeah. Michael Holden and Tori.
They are my top ship. Tied with Wolfstar. Sprawlden, #1. I love them to death.
They're so cute.
Yes.
He's just this, like, bright ray of sunshine.
Or at least that's what he puts on.
Yeah, I agree. But I feel like that's what the trope is.
Yes.
This
Yeah.
Sunshine Prison isn't always this...
They should be.
Innate...
You should always be happy.
We want you to always be happy.
You can never feel more than one emotion. Ever.
True.
Yeah. But I think a big part of Michael Holden as a person is the fact that he's constantly putting on this...
sunshine display.
Facade.
Oh, Membean word.
Membean is a vocabulary website we have to do for English class. And I forgot to do it last week. So that is not where I learned facade.
That is where, well, it was one of my words, but...
Actually?
Yeah, but I already
She's on a higher level than I am.
I'm always on a higher level. I'm sorry, that was mean. I didn't mean it.
I don't care. The Fine Print was another one.
Yeah. He was grumpy in a weird way, though. Am I the only one that felt that?
She was sunshine in an annoying way.
Yeah. It was both...
I felt he was a normal grumpy.
He was... Okay.
He was textbook definition
in my
of grumpy
idea
man.
Of grumpy in the Grumpy X Sunshine trope, it's this guy who's... Well, Well, I guess he fits it pretty well. I was going to say, like, secretly pining for this girl, but doesn't want to show it, so he puts on this grumpy facade. Mm-hmm. He's this grumpy person.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to like anything. He's embarrassed. Blah, 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 blah. So I guess he did fit it pretty well. I recommend, if you like workplace romance, if you like secret relationships, and if you like, what was another trope? Enemies to lovers, you'll like the fine print.
Woo!
Book recommendation right there. That's the epitome of our podcast.
Yeah, literally.
Slow burn. Slow burn is another one of my favorite tropes because I don't like we were talking about, I don't like romance if it's rushed.
Mm-hmm.
So,
how does that play into not enough time?
I feel like if they're going to die at the end, make it a longer book so that the romance is kind of, you know what I mean?
What's your opinion on they both die at the end, where it takes place in one day, and they fall in love at the very end?
Wow, you're really testing my limits, aren't we? I love that book, but, and I did like, I did like the relationship because it was just the length of a regular book, but in their head, it was only one day. In my head, it was just the length of
a book.
Yeah, exactly.
I think a big part, I think that book was mostly, though it is a love story and like that's, they fall in love,
mm-hmm.
It was mostly them becoming friends.
Yeah.
And so if anything, it was more a story about friendship because that was the majority of the book. And so the romance is rushed, but I don't think that's necessarily what you're supposed to eat.
I agree.
As the main course.
Eat? What?
I meant to say get out of it, but then eat.
I don't think that's what you're meant to
consume the novel.
I sure hope not. A good example of this, slow burn, is the Renegade series. I know you haven't read it, mm-hmm. but
I need to read it.
One of my first popular TikToks was me recording the page of the book, and it's like page 300 in this book, and the two main characters, the love interest, had just met. Page 300.
Wait. What?
Yeah. So it was an extreme slow burn. The book was 500 pages long, and then the second book was 500 pages long, and I think the third book was 600. I could probably be wrong, because I tend to overestimate what I read, and they just barely ended up at the very end of the third book. And I ate every single bit of it up. They would, like, touch hands by accident, and I'd be like, woo!
And that's what a good book makes you feel.
It makes you giggly.
Yeah. Real.
Another good example is Lockwood & Co. Spoiler alert. There's 5 books. They're all over 300 pages, and they don't kiss a single time. So.
Maddie's not upset about it.
No, I'm not upset at all. Yeah. Any other concluding thoughts?
I don't think so. Thank you for celebrating the month of love with us. With our...
Oh my God! It's February, guys.
You know what that means.
Valentine's Day.
Month of love. And Valentine's Day.
We have to do a Pride Month episode too now.
July.
Oh, we
Is
won't
it
be
June?
in school. It's June. Damn. Homophobic!
I apologize. The summer all blends together, man.
Yeah, true.
But Anyways. It shouldn't, because it's an important month.
Every moment of your life counts.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening.
Right person, not enough time. Again. I think it's actually Maddie's favorite trope.
I don't like that trope.
So, thank you for celebrating February with us.
Whoop, whoop.
Thanks for listening to this episode of After the Epilogue.
Whoop, whoop.
Check out at After the Epilogue Podcast on Instagram and After Epilogue MM on Twitter. Also, check out Maddie's TikTok. They'll all be typed out. On all 3, you can get updates behind the scenes and more. And, of course, it'll be easy to keep up with us there.
Yep.
After the Epilogue is hosted and produced by Madeline Glenn and Maya Ortiz. Thank you.
Thank you for watching. Sorry it was a mess.